Are you looking to hire a virtual assistant but worried about not getting a quality virtual assistant? Well, in this video today, I'm going to talk about how to hire a virtual assistant, the things to look for, and where to hire a quality virtual assistant. Stay tuned. If you're new to this channel, my name is Thomas Parkinson and I've been selling on Amazon now for the last 5 years. I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller in the UK and in the USA as well. And I have a team of 75 virtual assistants. Now in this video today, I'm going to share with you what is a virtual assistant, guide on how to hire virtual assistants with a quality focus, where to hire virtual assistants. I'll give you my personal advice as well. So let's get started. What is a virtual assistant? A virtual assistant is someone who performs various tasks and activities to help support you in your business remotely. Now, in my case, as an Amazon seller, I've got a team of virtual assistants who perform tasks such as finding deals to resell high on Amazon, administrative tasks like shipment management, Seller Central, inventory management, or FBA orders, and even purchasing managers who are buying the products using my credit cards. Now, as your business grows, one of the things that people consider doing is hiring a virtual assistant to help them, should we say, unload some of their tasks, outsource, delegate, and it allows them to focus on their business. However, with the rise and demand for virtual assistants, it is challenging to look for virtual assistants that can provide quality work and have a great character at the same time to deliver all of this remotely. Now, the one thing which I'll say is if you are interested, I have a free guide that you can download called 15 Tasks to Outsource to Virtual Assistants. It's something that I built out my own business, and I've literally just documented some ideas that can support you in things that you might be able to outsource, maybe some things you haven't even thought about. So have a look in the description down below. It's going to help you out. Check it out now in the descriptions down below. Now, this leads me nicely onto my second chapter, a guide to hire a virtual assistant with quality. So number one, what I always do within hiring is require an assessment. Now, one of the common requirements when hiring a virtual assistant is to, should we say, get a resume or a CV. Now, what I will say is that a resume is generally not enough proof to provide that the candidate can actually do the work that you want them to and they're qualified for it. Why? Well, resumes can easily be faked. We now know that. Now, in order to check if the virtual assistant is the right candidate for the position and help filter, what I really recommend is to require them to do an assessment to ensure that the candidate knows what they are doing. And let's say, for example, the candidate is applying for the position of sourcer. What I would recommend is to get them to take a test where they can find a couple of profitable deals online. The idea here is you're going to be focusing on the quality of the deals that they submit, which is where you decide whether they fit the position or not, and you should take them forward towards maybe an interview. Now, the second thing I'd recommend for you is look for virtual assistants with great communication skills. Now, what I will say is that communication is a super important factor to have in building an effective team and managing processes and outcomes and results that we're looking for in our business. Now, if you fail to communicate, this could have a massive problem around misunderstandings that is going to cause delays in processes and potentially even lose you money. Now, with that being said, one thing I will say about virtual assistants is you really do want good communication skills. Why? Because everyone struggles from time to time, and their ability to communicate where they're struggling and sharing that with you as their leader or their line manager is going to be so important in your ability to coach, support, and develop them in finding the right solutions. Now, the third, advice that I'll give you, or the third tip, is hire long-term virtual assistants. Hiring a long-term virtual assistant is going to save you time and money from doing repetitive training, which can be invested in revenue-generated areas of your business. Now, not only that, it takes time for virtual assistants to grasp and understand your business, the processes that operate, and what they need to do within that business. And that's why we really recommend hiring virtual assistants for the long term. Why? Because over 1 or 2 months, they're still just going to be learning. But even after 3, 4, 5 months, they're still going to be learning. After about 6 months is when they really start to shine and add massive value back to your business. And after 1 year, they're now running on their own and probably teaching other people. Remember, this is a long-term game we're playing, not a quick win. Now, the fourth thing I'm going to recommend for you is don't offer a too low a rate. Now, what I will say is that most qualified virtual assistants do value their reputation and hard work, and they do expect to be compensated accordingly, exactly the same as you would if you were looking for a job. So if you are looking for a virtual assistant to provide quality work with great communication skills and know what they're doing, don't be frugal in the terms of pay. They're going to give you that money back 10x 10x in obviously the value of output they're doing and time saving for you. Check the rates of the people in the same industry, get an idea, talk to people about how much you should be paying for your virtual assistant for a similar role. And again, if you are looking to lower your rates, you are going to potentially see a suffering in the quality of the work that you get. Now, the one thing which I'll say for us is the majority of the roles that we hire for are generally going to be around about 20 to 25,000 pesos within the Philippines, which is where we do a lot of our hiring for product sourcing. And that's generally about a good rate for someone looking to find online. But if you're going to go higher, maybe a higher skill set and they've got existing industry knowledge, or maybe in a different range like programmer, for example, you'll certainly see that price go up a lot more. Again, ask people around you, look at advice and see what's a good price that you should be paying within the marketplace. Now, my fifth top tip for you I'm really going to recommend is avoid virtual assistants who are going to be working for multiple clients. Now, the one thing you might be thinking about is, hey Tom, I don't really have enough work for a full-time VA, or maybe like I'm not looking for a full-time VA. Well, the reason why I say this is because two things. Number one is the fact that generally the work that you're going to ask them to do might take a while to learn. And if they're kind of working for multiple clients, then they're likely not going to spend enough time to learn that work that you're asking them to do to a high enough standard to do it to a good level. Now, the second thing I'd recommend outside of that is if they are working for multiple clients, then the one thing which you will see, especially if you're training them up and maybe you're going at the lower end of the market looking to, should we say, get a bit of a discount and then train them up, they'll probably find other clients. And what will then happen is you're now training them up and the other clients will think, hey, you're really good. Your training is really good. Someone trained you really well. Do you want to come work for me full time? And what they'll do is they'll leave you and then go work for someone else full time. We've seen it time and time again. But I think for me, the one thing I always recommend is try and build a team of full-time employees. Why? Because you know that they're going to be working for you. If you can go down that route, it's really going to save you a lot of time and hassle in the long run. And obviously you can start delegating out more and more work to them, freeing up more time for you and improving the quality of their work. Now, in my case as an Amazon seller, sourcing products is very time consuming. So having virtual assistants working other clients is obviously going to potentially impact the amount of work they spend on my work, but also as well, they might actually be sharing the information that they're generating during my time with other clients as well. And there's certainly something that I really don't want to be happening. Now, if you are an Amazon seller and you are worried about a virtual assistant sharing deals, sharing information, what I will do is drop a video up above called How to Handle a VA Sharing Amazon Deals. I think that's going to help you with some top tips about what we've learned, the way we do it, and some things that you can do that's going to help you out. So check out that video. Now, the third chapter I'm going to jump into now is where to actually hire virtual assistants. Now, after going through the guide to actually hiring virtual assistants, there are 3 recommended places to hire one. Number 1, let's jump into the freelancer marketplace. Basically, a freelancer marketplace is going to be an online job platform where businesses can find and hire virtual assistants remotely to do the work. Now, what I will say is that there are really 2 types of freelancer marketplace. One is going to be the job advertisement type. Basically, you advertise a job where you find a freelance or virtual assistant with the right skill set. And by having the job posted or task there, all they then need to do is to respond to your post. But what I will say is that you are expected to go through hundreds of applications, and many of them are not going to be very good. And I know this, I've done this time and time again. Now, to give you a good example of a job advertisement, one of these platforms is going to be like onlinejobs.ph, where it's about $69 per month to advertise. Or, for example, it could be Upwork, which you can advertise on for free, but the actual freelancer has to take 20% of their pay that's going to go towards Upwork. That's how they get paid. Now, onlinejobs.ph is a freelance marketplace where you can find virtual assistants that are full-time and part-time, while Upwork tends to have more freelancers who are on a contract basis. Now, the second type of freelancer marketplace is going to be the gig type. Now, to explain the gig type of freelancer marketplace, that is where a virtual assistant is going to post gigs that they offer, and you can hire that freelancer that best fits your needs. Basically, you don't need to create a job posting. The freelancer you're going to be hiring is already posting the jobs about what skill sets, what result they can offer you, what value they can bring. And unlike the job advertising type, where you have to post jobs, this can be a lot easier and faster if you're looking for a specific task, and it's a general task that a lot of people offer. Now, to give you an example of gig types, these places are going to be like Fiverr, but also Upwork. Now, for example, for Fiverr, they're going to be a place whereby, generally speaking, the majority of the time is going to be a gig whereby you can buy a set result. For example, design me a logo, that's going to cost you a couple of dollars. Fantastic. Whereas on Upwork, they will do a project, and it might be like design you a logo, but it's more likely going to be, say, whereby they'll charge you an hourly rate, and that hourly rate, that how many hours that's going to take might be a bit more negotiable or open-ended. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, question for you guys. Which tasks are you likely to outsource in your business? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. Is it going to be maybe sourcing? Is it going to be logo design? I want to know in the comments down below. Now, the second place to hire a virtual assistant is through something called a virtual assistant agency or agencies in general. Basically, with virtual assistant agencies, you don't have to go through the trouble of reviewing each application. The agencies are going to find the right VA for you, and it's going to save you a lot of time and effort in finding the right candidate. Now, basically, these agencies are going to be experts in hiring and obviously finding the right people, and it's going to save that time, which is really going to help you invest back in your business. Now, to give you an example, if you say something like Support Ninja, they can find an agency with multiple virtual assistants to handle more than one task daily. Another one might be like My Outdesk, which specializes in delivering real estate virtual assistants. And if you're an Amazon seller, you might want to consider looking at the Fast Track FBA VA Academy. Now, the Fast Track FBA VA Academy is a service I created whereby we find, hire, train, and support a virtual assistant in your business for doing sourcing for 3 months. And we pretty much know all the results that they need to get, and we'll guarantee those results with you. And if you're not happy, we'll give you unlimited replacement for a new VA or money back guarantee for the first 3 months. And we know exactly what we're doing, and we can show you all our SOPs and how we've done it and built our own 7-figure businesses as well. Now, if you are interested, do check out the Fast Track FBA VA Academy. We've hired over 550 VAs, over 300 clients. Why? Because it works. Check it out today. I'll drop a link down below. Now, the third and the final place to hire virtual assistants is through referrals. It's one of the easiest ways to find a virtual assistant because you can simply ask your network of referrals and go through their recommendations. A good example could be, should we say LinkedIn, Slack, maybe friends, someone that you know, they've got a VA, they've got a friend they can recommend. And it can be hit and miss, but generally they kind of know the right kind of people who are going to be looking for it. And it's a good idea if you want to start that one as well. And you might be asking me, hey, what advice do I have on hiring a virtual assistant? And should we say, as an Amazon seller myself, we've got 3 companies and we've got over 75 staff across all 3 companies. Number 1 is always think long term. I said it earlier on, I'll say it again. Focus on building a long-term business because hiring people, it takes time to train and develop them. Long-term focus is important. Number 2, we do it in our company and we talk about it, and I've done it in previous companies I've worked in. And if you want to know, Google the 90-day plan or 90-day hiring or onboarding. We always go through a methodology of designing what they need to train and develop over the first 90 days. It's so important about developing and bringing new staff and new talent into your business and how we support them. And then I think the third and the final one is don't neglect your responsibility as a leader in the business. We know this from working in our other companies. People don't work for businesses, they work for managers. And you as a line manager, you are the most important part of that company, and make sure that you develop your leadership and learning skills and obviously develop your remote work, especially when you're dealing with virtual assistants. It's so key, and you're obviously going to be able to 10x your relationship and your results by having a great leadership skill. Now, what I will say is after understanding the guide to hiring virtual assistants with quality, you might want to consider watching a video I created called How to Interview Virtual Assistants, my live interviews with VAs that I've done myself. And what I'll do is I'll drop that around here. Check that out. Now, hopefully you'll like this video. If you do, give me a big thumbs up. And hey, if you want to see more, do hit the share button and share it with someone that you know, and also hit the subscribe button. But for myself, Thomas Parkinson and Fast Track FBA, thank you very much.